Hello and welcome to Kaunas, Lithuania. For millennia, this land has been shaped by the vision of a people whose deep history and vibrant culture stand as a testament to the enduring human spirit. Today, that same spirit of aspiration ignites this stage. Coming up are the men's semi-finals of the UIPM Modern Pentathlon World Championships, the culmination of a truly historic season, marking the full embrace of modern pentathlon's thrilling new era. And whilst we're inside this largest indoor arena in the Baltic States, the impressive Zalgiris Arena, the weather outside for our athletes as they prepare to compete in the laser run is pretty good. Here is the course. We begin with the fencing direct elimination rounds. It's épée fencing, whole body's target, first to 5 hits, or the most touches in a minute. We'll move on to the obstacles, 8 obstacles, and this discipline is all about getting around the course as fast as you can. The fastest time gets the most points. We move on to the pool, which is also inside this arena, a short hop away into the 50-meter pool. 4 laps to complete a couple of kilometers, and then we move on to the combined laser run, 3,000 meters comprising of 5 laps of the 600-meter track, punctuated by 4 visits to the shooting range. Got to hit the target 5 times before you can move on. Out of the range, back onto the track, and the 5th and final lap as we get a look around the outdoor section of the loop, which is why that weather is all important. Very tight and twisty as they come around the final bend and into the start-finish straight for the final time. The top 9 in the semi-finals progress through to the final in a couple of days' time. Huge anticipation here in the venue. Only those that can demonstrate an exceptional blend of discipline, endurance and flawless marksmanship will earn a coveted place in the grand final. The stage is set for an heroic display of athleticism and spirit. 18 athletes will take to the stage.
Alert, alert, don't anybody move. Stay still and just look up at that clock on the top of the Jumbotron. That is a 30-second countdown to the start of the UIPM Pentathlon World Championships. So if you're a fan, a delegate, a coach, or an athlete, the time is now.
Just 5 seconds to go as we roll through the bottom 6 from the fencing ranking round. It's time to meet the semi-final A lineup for the men.
Ladies and gentlemen, united under the flag of sport, please welcome the athletes of the UIPM 2025 Pentathlon World Championships as they enter the fencing direct elimination round of the men's semi-finals here in Zalgiris Arena.
Well, here they come. We start with France's Valentin Bello, a 2-time Olympian and 2-time world champion. He topped the fencing ranking round, so we will see him back out on the piste last up, and the second out. The crowd go wild for the host nation's Titas Peronas, the 2023 under-24 European bronze medalist.
Representing Hungary, Balasek.
Out now, Balasek from Hungary, an Olympian and world silver medalist last year. Expectations high amongst the Hungarians here in Lithuania.
Junior World Championships 2023 bronze medalist.
And now Leo Boris from France, the second Frenchman out, bronze medalist at the 2023 Junior World Championships.
Mexico,
competing at Paris 2024. Carrillo from Mexico comes out fifth. Should be an interesting competition for this German. Tim Ley just missed out on the medals at last year's Junior World Championships.
Representing Ukraine, Yuri Kovalchuk.
Well, this man just competed at the European Championships in Madrid and took the gold medal. It's Yuri Kovalchuk from Ukraine.
Representing Turkey, Berga Unal.
Haven't seen this athlete from Turkey since the Olympics in Paris last year. It's Berga Unal. Daniel Sich, the second of the Ukrainians out, a 2023 junior European and world silver medalist.
Representing Spain, Christian Camillo.
What a big announcement for Christian Camillo from Spain. Regularly threatens, but hasn't yet made a senior international podium. Well, this is the man to watch out for. Picked up his second consecutive junior world title just recently. He has not performed up to his standards in the fencing ranking round. It's Mutas Mohammed from Egypt. Now, the pole, an unknown quantity here. This could be a season-defining result for Daniel Marinovic.
Representing Korea, Jung-Yoon Lee.
The only Korean in the field, Lee Jung-hyun. Very much a dark horse.
Representing Italy, Giorgio Malan.
Much fancied Italian Giorgio Malan got a bronze medal at the Olympic Games last year in Paris.
Representing Guatemala, Juan Ochoa. 2024 Pan American Games silver medalist.
Guatemala's Juan Ochoa, silver. Last year's Pan American Junior Championships. Now last year's European champion, another Hungarian, it's Andras Gal.
Representing Egypt, Mohamed Hassan.
2024 under-19 world bronze medalist, also from Egypt, like Mutas Mohammed, it's Mohamed Hassan.
South Africa, Daniel Grobe.
Youngest athlete in the field, just 15 years old, from South Africa, it's Daniel Grobe.
That concludes our entrance for these incredible athletes. Athletes, please take your positions and let's get ready to get started for the direct elimination round of the UIPM Pentathlon World Championships right here in Kaunas, Lithuania 2025.
Well, we've had the 18 athletes announced out here. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me, our expert extraordinaire, the Olympic Games finalist and African Championship silver medalist, Alida van der Merwe. I want to give everyone a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at what we do in the commentary box here, because we were going through athlete pronunciations, and I went, well, the last one's easy. The guy from South Africa, it's Daniel Grobe. And you went, no, no, no. So give us a proper pronunciation of your fellow teammate.
Yep, no, so it's great to see Daniel Grobe, one of the youngest, making his breakthrough on the senior stage. But given that we have some top names here in the main semi-final A, from Olympians to world champions, but the goal today is that top 9 to qualify for the final on Saturday.
So ladies and gentlemen, let's talk.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this. We've got two pieces in action at the same time. I will take you through the feature piece, piece A, and Alida will take us through the action on the B pieces. We're already underway. 1 minute of fencing. Winner is the first to 5 hits, or the leading athlete after a minute. If the scores are equal after a minute, the highest ranked fencer progresses. And if you're new to fencing and FA fencing, it's the first to hit, the whole body's target, hit with a point. Doubles are where both fencers score at roughly the same time, within 40 milliseconds of each other, as Mohammed Hassan begins with the first point. This is effectively a qualifier for the round of 16. And as you can see on the picture-in-picture, we also have another fight, Alida.
Yes, so on your top right-hand side of the screen, we have Piece B, Daniel Cloutier on the left-hand side, and Ochoa on the right, with a 2-1 lead. And I think also important to note, the highest seeded fence will be on the right-hand side of the piece. That ultimately means they have priority if the time clocks out and wins the bout.
Well, the first hit for Hassan was annulled, but he manages to land one on the flash attack here to level up with Andras Gal. He's looking to make some progress through this fencing elimination round. The new format of pentathlon is thrilling. An hour and 45 minutes of action to complete all 5 disciplines is some feat. And Hassan making the mistake there of thinking he hit the target, but he hadn't. As he turned to look at the scoring apparatus, Andras Gal lands his second hit.
All action from Piece B. We see Ochoa, who will move on through to the round of 16 up against Peronas Titus.
Well, Hassan here didn't do as well as he was hoping in the fencing ranking round, which is why he's coming up against the highest seeded Gal, who goes on to progress to the next phase, the round of 16. He'll go up against the top seeded fencer, Valentin Belot from France. As we take a look back at the last hit there, Hassan going out on the flesh, but a quick cart parry from Gal pushes him through to the next round.
Yep, and I mean, especially in this fencing format, you'll see a big switch between attacking and defending with these athletes. And I mean, it's only 5 points that you need to score in 1 minute. So it is fast-paced. But on Piece B, we have Titus Peronas on the right-hand side and Ochoa of Guatemala on the left. It is Peronas with a 1-0 lead, setting pace for Piece B.
Getting a good look at the blue eyes of Valentin Belot from France. Top seed from the fencing ranking round takes on Andras Gal from Hungary, who's now switched over to the left-hand side.
30 seconds left.
Oh, it's the left-handed Peronas, picks up his 3rd point in his bout. Less than 30 seconds left on Piece B. Ochoa just looking for the gap for his attacks.
On the main piece, you see a slight difference in the styles of the two fencers. The left-hander from France, who launches an attack on the outside of the right-hander, misses a nice parry from Gal. But the main difference in style here is Belot on the right is what's known as a pommeler. He uses a straight grip, which means he can hold his weapon just a little further away from the guard, which gives him extra reach. But with that reach, you lose precision and power, as Gal on a double goes 2-1 up.
With Peronas towards the back of the piece, he picks up his 5th point, and it is a victory for Peronas. We say goodbye to Ochoa. Peronas will transition through to table of 8.
Beautiful parry riposte with a little duck in there from Valentin Belot to level the scores up. He's got a little bit of a battle on his hand here. Gal warmed up from the first fight. Belot coming on, we're not going to say cold, but certainly his first proper competitive action of the day, and he got away with a double there.
We have a simultaneous touch, so it is now 3-3 with 10 seconds remaining.
Oh, on the continuation there from Gal, changing lines. He'd actually turned his body away, and Belot effectively walked onto the point. And so that is it. Gal has upset the apple cart here already in the men's semi-final A at the World Pentathlon Championships here in Lithuania.
Moving on to Piece B, we have Kowalczyk of Ukraine on the right and Chemizu, the Spaniard, on the left. There's 30 seconds on the clock. Athletes taking their time here. No one has made the first move yet. Quite tactical move from Chemizu, who really needs to make a move. He does not have the priority, but he's just waiting for Kowalczyk's attack probably, but he goes for it. Chemizu picks up that point. Tactical approach from Chemizu. Playing with time here.
We got a look back at that exit of Valentin below. Just looked a little bit in two minds in a lot of those replays. Got to be sharp out of the box here. We move on to the next round of 16 match. Daniel Sich of Ukraine on the left-hand side, going up against the higher-seeded Ugra Unal from Turkey.
Well, even out score on Piece B. Time is ticking, 5 seconds left. Chemizu needs to make a move with the draw here. And it's Chemizu who picks up that third point. Less than 2 seconds left on Piece B. If Chemizu just moves towards the back of the piece, this is his victory. And that's it. Victory for Chemizu. He'll move on to face Peronis in the next round.
So we've had an upset at the bottom of the table as well as at the top. Chemizu taking out the higher-seeded Kowalczyk. We saw Gal of Hungary taking out the top seed, Belo. Here, though, Danilo Sich is 2-0 up. And Unal desperately trying to find a way through. Can only fashion a double there. Now the higher seed, so he just needs to score 2 points to level up, or 2 unanswered points to level up, and he'll go through and still half of the fight to go. So solid fencing from the Ukrainian. He's in control of this one with 15 seconds left to go.
Well, action starts on Piece B with Murtaz Mohammed on the left, Tim Ley on the right of Germany. Mohammed just pushing Ley towards the back of the piece. Ley has to take care of that front foot. He moves his foot behind that back line. It is a point for Mohammed, but looks like Ley picked up that point.
30 seconds for Mohammed and Ley.
30 seconds left on a Piece B. Mohammed tries to go for the flesh, didn't quite get the opening there. Ley really taking his blade.
Well, as Piece B runs ahead of Piece A, we return to the action on A as we have Korea from Mexico on the right-hand side, and Lavrinjevic from Poland on the left. Lavrinjevic in the ranking round got 15 victories and 20 defeats. It was 19 victories and 16 defeats for Korea, but Lavrinjevic is 1-0 up already.
Oh, it was Mohammed who tried to go for the attack in the last few seconds. Less than 2 seconds left. Mohammed needs to run for a point, but it won't be this. It is Tim Ley with the victory. And we say goodbye to Mohammed of Egypt. Ley will be up against the winner of Sip and Milan on a Piece B next.
So you've got to say Murtaz Mohammed will be just a little bit frustrated with his ranking round, because it meant he was going to go up against the higher seeded fencer there, and he would have been hoping to convert at least one victory.
Yeah, no, not really the fencing that Murtaz Mohammed would want in the start of this competition, but I mean, we've seen him time and time again where he really builds his way up from whether it be the fencing and the swimming, and he picks up those points. And he's just an amazing laser run athlete. So, not done yet for
We
Murtaz
can't rule him
Mohammed.
out, that's for sure. Here, though, Carrillo from Mexico has turned this one around. It's only 2-1, but it means that Marinovic has to score 2 in the final 5 or 6 seconds to go through, and Carrillo in control now. He will make it through to the quarterfinals here at the World Championships in the first of 5 disciplines. Now, will he get that hit? Does he make it with one action after his opponent has gone past? We wait for the referee to make the call. And the hit does indeed stand.
Well, on piece B, we have Giorgio Milan on the left, Sepp on the right. Milan finished 14th, he's ranked 14th in this direct elimination round, and Sepp 3rd. So Milan is really looking for a second chance to build his way through with this fencing. It is 2-2, less than 30 seconds left on the clock. Double score is not in favor of Milan. Milan needs to look for that single light. Goes for the lunge attack, but Sepp just beautifully steps back and picks up that point.
Well, looking at the replays of that victory for Carrillo on Peace Day, we could see the power of patience that's required in FA. He was down by a single point, but took his time to get on the scoreboard and then powered his way through. Slavinovic had to go after him. Last of the 16 matches on Peace Day out now, as Boris from France is on the right-hand side, the 4th seed from the ranking round, up against Lee from Korea, the 13th seed.
Well, it was a victory for Shep in the previous bout. Shep will move on to face against Tim Ley of Germany.
So a very, very patient game here, and you've got to fancy that that's more in favour of Lee here, even though he is the lower seed. It means he's only got to score 1 point, and he's got it to take control. Now Boris has to push a little bit harder. He's the higher seed, so 1 hit's enough for him, but he's only got 16 seconds on the clock. You can see the change of tactics immediately. Boris pressing and pushing his opponent to the back, but inside 10 seconds has to go for it. Now, I'm not entirely convinced he's going to get this. He does. The referee's signaled, and that is a critical point because it now pushes Boris into the victorious position with 7 seconds left to go. Lee has to score.
Yeah, given an even score, 1-1, if Boris times out here without picking up a point, he will win with his priority, but it's Lee who needs to look for that single light. No double lights for Lee. Puts the pressure onto Boris.
Oh, Lee's just not gone for it quick enough, and time runs out on him, and Boris is through to the quarterfinals. Well, looking at this, you have to say that Lee let time run away from him. He didn't realise that he had too much to go. He tried to argue that the first hit that Boris scored should not have counted, but it did, and that is what happens when you take a victory like that. There's a huge amount of emotion pouring out right at the beginning of the day. And the good news now, Alida, is we're down to 1 piece. So.
I do want to touch on that approach from Lee, and we saw it earlier with Chamizo. They were the lower seeded fencers, and they really took time and took advantage of the time, sort of waiting for the time to go out to make the first move. And yeah, we'll definitely see the change between defending and attacking in this direct elimination format for fencing.
Yeah, I love it. Just 1 minute for the direct elimination matches, but still first to 5 points, like a pool match in Olympic fencing. And here we have the now top seed. We're effectively taken over the top seed, Andros Gull, on the left-hand side, but he's up against the higher seeded fencer, seeded number 9, Danilo Sich from Ukraine.
All doubles are in favor of Sich. Gull needs to look for that single light. Quite big actions from a gal looking to really take Sitch's blade, but it's Sitch who just breaks through and picks up the point inside of Gal's hand.
High octave parry from the Ukrainian to establish the lead, but that's a beauty of a hit. Perhaps it wasn't the hand going up as an acknowledgement there. Maybe that was a bit of a lucky one. The point was in the right place at the right time for Andras Gal to level up. Sitch still in control as the higher ranked fencer. Gal has to push and press, and he does.
Gal really making use of the different parries, whether it be circular Cs or counter circle H, just to confuse his opponent up for when he will take his blade, when or where he will take his opponent's blade. But time is ticking. Sitch will need to look for that single light. He launches himself, but it's Gal, picks it up. Victory for Gal.
Well, what a run for the man ranked 16 in the lineup after the ranking round.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you can really get a second chance with this direct elimination round. He started off a bit lower down in the ranks and really changing his fencing approach in this men's semi-final.
Fascinating contest here. Andras Gal of Hungary making it through to the semi-finals of the fencing direct elimination. Now, if you're wondering about all these wonderful words that the leader and I have been using, octave, circular, lateral, fencing effectively is a game of lines, and those are the different lines of attack, effectively. If you break the body into 4 quarters, that gives you the idea of the main lines. They start in a position called six or sixth, hand and elbow of the sword arm in front of each other on the outside of their bodies. They go across their body in the top line, that's 4 or cart, and down at the bottom, below 6 is 8 octave, and below 4 is septime. There are other lines, and we will see mainly things like prime, where the hand is inverted and goes above the head. But the best thing about this sport is that it literally is the first one to hit that gets the point and the whole body's target.
Well, given the talk about all the parries, we also could talk about the different grips that athletes were making use of. We see Peronis with the French grip here. He won't be making use of all the different parries because the French grip is ultimately, you don't have so much strength to make those parries. So you see these in and out movements with his arms, just looking for the gap. And Chamizo making use of hitting Peronis' blade, which is trying to let him lose a bit of control there. But Peronis just flying through with a 3-point lead, less than 15 seconds on the clock.
Well, delighting the home crowd here. Peronis is causing Chamizo a lot of problems, but let's not forget Peronis came through the fencing ranking round ranked 2nd, so this is effectively on seed, and that's a beautiful hit on the inside for the Lithuanian to make it through to the semi-finals, and his run here on home soil continues. We were talking about the different grips. Is it fair to say, Alida, that someone who uses a French grip or a pommeler, as they're known, because they can hold the back of the grip, they're going to be using distance as a tactic, and the guys using the pistol grips are going to be more about more complicated actions off the blade?
Definitely, and I think with a pommeler, they'll really want to play with the distance and just the right timing too. But it's also more of the surprise attacks that they can make use of. And with the pistol grip, it's more about control, trying to get the blade, and
you have more strength, hence why grabbing hold of the blade is a good idea. Well, now we have Balasep of Hungary on the right-hand side. He's ranked 3rd in the competition, going up against the 8th seed. The 8th seed, is that correct? The 6th seed, I should say. Tim Ley from Germany. They beat Lutas Mohammed in the last round. Sepp took out the Paris 2024 Olympic bronze medalist Giorgio Milan. No hits with 40 seconds of the fight done.
more time is ticking. Time is, and all these double points are in favor of Sepp. Trying to set up his attack there, whether it be playing with the feint for a low line and finishing up. But it's Sepp who picks up that second point, less than 10 seconds left on the clock. Beautiful touch from Sepp, just on the top of Lei's hand. Precision was key there. Lei looks for the parry 8 up top. Didn't quite get the right timing. It was a double point, not in favor of Lei.
Time against the German, having to press hard, and it plays into Sepp's hands as Sepp moves in to the semi-finals to join Peronas at the bottom of the draw. So both Hungarians have made it through to the semi-finals. We have one more quarter-final to come as we look at the demise. That was a beauty, wasn't it, on the top of the arm?
Yeah, I think the thing with all these parries, you've got to be careful with the exposure of your arm. I mean, given a small mistake in timing, your opponent can just pick it up on your hand easily. Showcased by Sepp beautifully.
Our next matchup in the top 8. Leo Boré from France and Danilo.
So here we have the last of the quarterfinals. Leo Boris from France, the number 4 seed, going up against the number 5 seed, Carrillo from Mexico. Julio Carrillo on the left.
Boris with the priority, applying pressure, pushing his opponent towards the back of the piece.
What that was to start this fight. It had everything.
It wasn't the second action, but almost the third action that Boris picked up that point. And that just shows you don't stop until the ref calls halt.
I thought the referee was going to call halt there as the Mexican went down on one knee, but he managed to recover to his feet, but couldn't evade his opponent. So now we see, after Boris going after the first hit, he's settled back and he's happy to sit back and lure Carrillo into distance. Trap there, lured him into the attack, stepped away from it, made him miss, and then launches his attack.
Well, that's what we were talking about with the French grip athletes. They're sort of using the distance to lure their athletes in and then a surprise attack. But as Carrillo responds to Boris. And there we see it again. Boris just really lured Carrillo towards the back of the piece, waiting for the right timing to pick up the point onto his hand. He has that extra reach with that grip.
15 seconds left.
Carrillo trying to set up an attack.
Oh, that's nice, but a second intention there from the Mexican. Faked the first attack, having pushed Boris to the back of the line, and then managed to land at the final one. Can he get another 2 points? It doesn't look like that. Is the referee going to award this hit?
Leo Boris is still up, 3-2.
It doesn't, it nulled that hit because it was the second action after the athletes had been told to stop.
But it is Leo Boris with 1.29 seconds left, commanding 4-2 lead.
Well, it's decided. Victory for Boris.
And that's that.
A great run from Carrillo.
Moving on. Give a round of applause for Carrillo from Mexico.
Yeah, Carrillo out in the quarterfinals along with Sich, Lei, and Chamiso.
Well, it looks like Carrillo just had his toe left behind there, but great recovery from Carrillo. That's brilliant footwork.
Well, you are watching the first major senior championship, including the new format. These truly are pioneers of the new format of modern pentathlon. New discipline of obstacle coming up next. But the new format includes this fencing knockout stage. So Boris stays on. And he goes up against Andras Gal, who has been the surprise package in the fencing D, the Hungarian taking out the #1 seed, Belo, in the round of 16 before beating Danilo Sich of Ukraine in the next round. Boris is the 4th seed, so is the higher seed. So despite Gal's efforts, he has to score a point or get a point ahead in order to progress. We're inside the final 30 seconds.
Well, dangerous position with Bori towards the back of the piste. If your front foot moves over that back line, it ultimately is a point for the opponent. It's 1-1, less than 30 seconds left. Bori with the priority. Beautiful hard from Gal. Hard 4 finishing up against Bori.
The windscreen wiper parry, I like to call it. But he's continuing this impressive fall, and again using that part block out. Hand wrist cut rolling across the body, staying in the high line.
Sort of angling your blade in a position that your opponent cannot get past. And that is really just something you practice with. It lessons with your coach, but beautiful touch from Gal. What a run he's having this morning. Less than 9 seconds left. But it is decided victory for Andras Gal. And it seems like, no, it was a point outside of the piste.
Does it the second time of asking, though. And I think you called it. You spotted it early. He was using that 4 parry, that cart parry, and he used it all the way through. And this is a remarkable run from Andras Gal from Hungary, coming through the incomplete round of 32, beating the #1 seed, then taking out the #9 seed before knocking out Boris, the #3 seed. Gal has made it all the way through to the final. And whatever happens in that final, it's a delightful result for the Hungarian.
You have 2024 silver medalist at the World Championships.
Well, can Hungary make it 2 from 2 in the fencing DE here, direct elimination? Because Balasep comes on. He goes up against Titas Peronas from the host nation.
Peronas sort of shifting the angle of his arm just to confuse his opponent. Just picks up the point on Shep's hand. And that's all about waiting for your opponent to make a mistake. Just having your blade and point in the right position, in the right on-guard position from the beginning.
Interesting to watch the back foot of Peronas. New to fencing, it could just seem like simple steps backwards and forwards, but if you look at the back foot of the Lithuanian on the right-hand side, that foot is almost moving independently of the front foot.
They can really distract your opponent with the distance and whether you're moving forward or backwards. So really interesting approach from Peronas. Launches for the lunge, but it's Shep who picks it up.
He's worked it out. He's getting in closer. He's closed the distance up after the first hit. And he's only launching his attacks from inside step lunge distance. Look how close they are.
I think given with the distraction of Peronas' back foot, Shep is trying to focus on his front foot instead with that distance.
Wow, what a win this could be for Balasep. He's on the brink of making it 2 Hungarians into the final here, and he has indeed done that. Not a bad run from Peronas. but he'll be disappointed he didn't adapt his distance there in that semi-final. And it will be Hungary versus Hungary in this men's semi-final A in the fencing direct elimination round. You've got to say, Sepp just sorted out the distance, didn't he?
No, really brilliant. And just having a replay of this attack, he feinted down for the foot and finished up on the high line on his arm. And I think with that, reading your opponent comes with a lot of experience, and that is just what Sepp is showcasing here. But it's an all-Hungarian final for this direct elimination round. And I assure you, these two athletes know each other quite well. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. So this will be an interesting bout with these two athletes. We might even see different styles from Gal and Sepp from the previous fences.
So this is it, the last of the fencing matches in the men's semi-final A here at the Modern Pentathlon World Championships of 2025. And look at that, Andras Gal, who, well, he would have been disappointed with his fencing ranking round, but he has piled through the direct elimination right the way from the incomplete round of 32. So 13 to a 16, a round of 8, and a semi-final match already, and he is now 2 points up, and that again is about keeping the point in the right place. Second hit, absolute beauty. Looks like it was just on the underside of the wrist.
Sepp goes for the feint for the foot and finishes on the high line once again.
Well, this is some run.
Gal is just really waiting for Sepp to make the close distance and taking his blade. So Sepp really has to be careful with the distance that he has up against Gal. Double point for 2, less than 8 seconds left.
Well, there you have it. Andras Gal proving that even after a disappointing fencing ranking round, you can go all the way through this new format of knockout fencing and pick up a hatload of points. Yes, Galt had to put in a little bit more effort with one more fight than Sepp, but considering how tuned these athletes are, I don't think that'll make a difference to him, and it'll be the net benefit from the psychological boost he'll have, the confidence of coming through the fence after being ranked, well, 3 from the bottom.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing with pentathletes, is having to forget about the discipline that happened and just move on with the next.
And here we see the run of Andras Gal at the top of the order, taking out Valentin Belot of France, the top seed. And that set him up for a glorious victory in the fencing D round. And after the first of 5 disciplines, this is how things finish up. A jump of 15 places for Andras Gal to the top of the order, with his teammate Balázs Sepp sitting in second place. Titus Peronas will be happy, even though he's lost a place, to finish 3rd in the fence. Moving into the middle of the order, and this is really where we've got to be looking at throughout the rest of the competition. Belot dropping 8 places, and he's effectively sitting on the bubble, the top 9 qualifying for the men's final here. And it's a drop for the other 3 athletes at the bottom of that table. And just see how things have changed as well. A lot of athletes making progress, but in the wrong direction. Mohamed Hassan has work to do, and the 15-year-old Daniel Gravier is at the bottom of the field, but enjoying this experience. What a great run from Andras Gal of Hungary to win the fence here. The Zalgiris Indoor Arena, the Baltic States' largest indoor arena. We move on from the fence to the obstacles. 8 obstacles to tackle. It's all about speed across the course. The faster you go, the more points you score. The tactics do play a part, and athletes will be wary of potential penalties or even elimination. As we take a look at the swinging globes, the penultimate of the 8 obstacles, and we have had someone go around the track, and here it is through the steps and big wheel into the tilted ladders. We'll see different techniques through the tilted ladders. In this example, the athlete using all 3 of the tilted ladders, but some of the other athletes out there will miss out different obstacles along the way. Through the over, under and through. Test of agility, and then the challenging ascension bars, rising with each bar into the giant steps, and then another one of these challenging overhead obstacles. Again, we'll see different techniques going through this. This is a 2-handed approach. We'll see athletes swinging left and right using one hand through these obstacles as well. And then, if that's not enough, you get through this, and then you've got to climb this final wall, the finishing wall, up and over to hit the buzzer to stop the clock. And we're looking for times, good times, being inside 60 seconds. So this is how the heats will line up. We'll start with the back of the field. Daniel Gravier going up against Mohamed Hassan. Watch Hassan through the obstacles. That could be a big rise for him. Ochoa against Milan will follow. Then Lee Lavrivovic go in heat 3. 4, 5 and 6 in the middle. We start to get into that challenging position. We need to watch out for Valentin Belot in the 5th heat as he goes up against Kovalchuk of Ukraine. And then we move on to the athletes ranked highest after the fencing ranking round. We will conclude with the 2 Hungarians going up against each other, Shep and Gal in heat number 9. Be interesting to see how Peronis does in the penultimate heat. Well, they are ready to go on the line in heat 1. On the far side, Daniel Gravier, closest to us, Mohamed Hassan from Egypt. Egypt versus South Africa, heat number 1. What an experience for the 15-year-old from the Republic of South Africa. He's got to forget about Mohamed Hassan next to him, and he's just got to go up against the clock. Here we go, heat 1 of the obstacles. So straight through the big wheel. Now we see the tilted ladders and Hassan just missing out the middle one. Through the agility, and it skips 2 ascension bars, but he's dropped now. Hassan needs to come through and start this again. And Gravier has taken the lead. Hassan will see that as motivation, but Gravier from the Republic of South Africa into the swinging globes. And you can see the different tactics. They are absolutely on the money here over the line, and I think Gravier may have set the fastest time there.
Well, what a big upset for Hassan. He was really on a roll there, but it just goes to show sometimes the riskier move just is really punishing. But great stuff from Daniel Gravier. Be really pleased with that result. And it was just here Hassan missed that bar. He went for the 3rd. And it's just all about that grip strength. You see just at the fingertips. Didn't quite get that bar. But we move on to the next heat. In lane A, we'll have Juan Ochoa of Guatemala, and lane B, Giorgio Milan. And they're off. Steps onto the big wheel, right into the tilted ladders. that catch and release from Milan and Ochoa. Over, under, through, swiftly here. Quick stuff from Ochoa. He'll go for that second swinging globes. Watch the twisting of his body. Really gets that reach. Sprint finish for the buzzer with just around 30 seconds. And Milan finishes on around 35. Well, we remember Milan, he had a bit of an upset in the obstacles of the World Cup final, so really looking to go safely through as he did so. He's really getting a lot more comfortable and confident with the obstacles.
Yeah, this is a man who got bronze medal at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games in the last of the events with the equestrian discipline. So now getting used to the obstacles. Two athletes looking to make a move up next. Lee Jong-hyun of Korea up against Daniel Ravinovich, closest to us for Poland. Up and running for Heat 3. Well, Ravinovich through the tilted ladders swiftly. Now showing his agility and into the ascension bars. Skips the first and the third and the final one. And he's building a big lead here. The double-handed quick exchange through, just about making it onto the ramp. This should be a really quick time, or just a little bit extra needed through the finishing wall as Lee comes up to press the buzzer. He fell behind early and just could not catch up. Well, you could see the effort that Ravinovich put in for the final wall.
We move on to heat number 4, lane A, representing Egypt, Mohamed Muataz, and the lane B, Bugra Unal. And the buzzer sets them off. Big wheel into the tilted ladders. Watch the catch and release from Mohamed. Swiftly through. No time to waste in the over-under through. Muataz going for that second ascending board. Hand over hand movement. Swinging globes. Again, making the use of the twisting of his body. Sticks that landing. Looking for around 30 seconds for Muataz. He'll be happy with that. And Bugra around 35. So far we've seen the fastest times around 30 seconds, not quite sub 30 in this men's semi-final. And given that, I must say, the combination of ascending bars and swinging globes do tend to be quite a tricky course.
Yeah, the overhead obstacles a real challenge, but Muataz Mohamed making a move in a discipline that we expected him to, setting the fastest time so far of a 30.2 seconds. Next up is the heat between Kowalczuk and Bello, closest to us. Bello dropping from first to 9th. Up and running through the fairly easy couple of disciplines just to get them moving. Now we see the different tactics used and the techniques used by the athletes, but they come through the over, under and through, absolutely lined up. And there again, Bello using a double-handed technique through the giant steps and into these challenging swinging globes. Different techniques using, but Bello's been just held up there and he's fallen. And now Kowalczuk's going to get over the line first in heat number 5 with a 33.551. Bello now, look at the amount of energy he's got to use. Holding those biceps tight, needs to use a little bit of extra energy and some core strength to get over the line. And Bello is dropping through the ranks like a stone. A little over 45 seconds for the Frenchman, and his men's World Championship semi-final is starting to fall apart already.
Oh, the swinging globes can be so punishing with that grip. You can see he just slips off that fourth last swinging globe. And as he made his run through the second time, he used what we call the bicep technique, which really is quite a strenuous technique to use. But we move on, welcoming athletes in heat number 6. In lane A, representing Spain, Christian Camiso and Danilo Sic in lane B. They're off big wheels. Brilliant technique from Sic. What will he do on the ascending bars? He skips to the third bar. Incredible from Sic. Giant steps. What will he do on the swinging globes? Goes for the second one, makes use of that twisting technique. This might be the fastest time in the semi-final, just under 30 seconds for Danilo Sic. And Camiso finishes off around 35 seconds.
What a performance from the Ukrainian, especially in those overhead obstacles. He was absolutely stunning. People are going to be looking at that going, right, because this is early days in obstacles. These are the pioneers taking to it. But look at the technique, absolutely brilliant. Even you sounded surprised. He skipped 3, which skipped the first 2 on the ascension bars. Sets her fastest time under 30 seconds, and we move on to heat number 7 of 9. Tim Ley of Germany up against Carrillo from Mexico. The Mexican closest to us has already fallen behind through the tilted ladders. Oh, look at the German, absolutely nimble here. There's not much to him, and that helps in the agility ones, but look at the speed through the ascending bars, already onto the giant steps. What's he going to do on the globe? Skips 1 and 3. Skips 5. Oh my goodness me, now he's come out of that on the wrong lane, but is that going to be okay for Tim Ley? It was a time of 32 as the Mexican makes it through, looking to the judge to see whether he needed to go and repeat that. He's been given the green lights all round, but have we got a yellow flag in the course?
I think we'll have to have a look over the landing from Carrillo. Could be quite risky.
I think this landing from Ley was quite risky as well. I mean, he was clearly on the right part of the platform, but was he on the wrong side of the course? Oh, now, as he stumbled over the line, the judge wasn't looking there at the right place, I don't think. It's going to be difficult to challenge. Well, we'll find out more about that shortly.
We have Boris lane A and Peronis in lane B. Peronis closest to us. Boris to... Oh, incredible from Boris. Mastered those tilted ladders. What would he do on the ascending bars? Snappy hands from Boris. Giant steps. Swinging globes. He skips that first one. Reaching for every globe. Sticking landing. He looks for that buzzer. It's in his side. 26 seconds for Boris. Fastest time in the semi-final A. Peronis finishing off. It'll be around 35 seconds for Peronis. But what a run from Boris.
They're going so fast, we haven't got time to talk about what they're doing. It's incredible. That was a stunning run from Boris from France. The Lion. What is he doing? I mean, I don't think I've seen that technique ever used before. I know it's early days in obstacles, but he's found a technique that I've never seen anyone else use.
No, he really beautifully just tucked his legs in to keep that momentum that he's driven up.
Last of the heats, the obstacles nearly done and dusted. 2 Hungarians up against each other. Sepp against Gal. Time of 26:79, the time to beat, set by Leo Boris from France. The Hungarians, though, just taking this, not, I'm not going to say leisurely, but they're being careful. They want to keep their high rankings through the obstacle course. They don't want to make any penalties, so we're not expecting fast times there. Oh, that was so close! So close from Gal. Now he's got to just maintain his composure here. His heart will be pounding as Sepp is catching up, and he's overtaken up into the finishing wall. They're on the buzzer pretty much at the same time. 36 seconds and some change for both of the Hungarians. That's going to put them down somewhere around about 12th, 13th, even 14th, 15th place in the obstacles. And it's all about taking the points through each discipline.
Well, given the top two seeded athletes in this semi-final, they really just wanted to get safely through without an elimination in the obstacles. So given that they went around 35 seconds, that's all right, because they're still in the top 9 for the qualification of the final.
Two disciplines done here then in Lithuania at the World Championships. The two Hungarians deciding to sort of pace themselves through. You see Gal here being overtaken by Sepp as they got to the line. There were less than half a second between the two Hungarians. Came into the obstacles top of the order. We'll find out how their times affect the standings. Well, this is the lineup after the obstacles. And look, Boris climbing to the top of the order. And Sich moving up 5 places in the top. We move into the second part of the group, and the all-important middle of the table order as Sepp drops at 3, Peronas drops another place, but he'll be happy being in the top 6. Now the middle of the table, Mutas Mohammed moving up, or Mohammed Mutas moving up the order 4 places, but Juan Ochoa from Guatemala also moving up by 5 places, along with Navidnovic of Poland climbing 3. Hassan, the other Egyptian, has taken up 4 places, and the Olympic bronze medalist Milan from Italy has climbed by 1. So that's the obstacles done and dusted. And before we move on to the pool, let's take a look back at how fast the obstacles are. So we've done the fence. I'm sure you've been thrilled by the obstacles. Now we move just a little to the other side of this massive indoor arena to the 50-meter pool. It's a fabulous venue, I have to say. 200 meters of swimming to come next for our 18 athletes, and here is the pool live. And as you can see, beautifully lit here for this first men's semi-final here at the World Championships. The athletes will transition from the obstacles through to here. It's about a 90-second walk, so it's not far, but of course they have to get changed. But they go through a transition area. And, well, as we're in Lithuania, why not let's have a chat with the Lithuanian athlete, Titas Peronas.
Hello, my name is Titas Peronas, and I'm from Lithuanian team. So transition between OCR and swimming pool, I would say, is quite easy. Transition after the swimming is a little bit more harder. Usually I put my stuff all organized and ready for the change from OCR uniform to the swimming costume. I like to prepare all the stuff by myself, so I always know where are the stuff, and I know 100% that it will be there and I will be ready. The main feeling is I'm super proud for all the organization team. They did a very good job, and yeah, the main feeling is that I'm very proud. In the qualification, I felt a lot of pressure being in my hometown. It resulted in not so good shooting, but all other aspects, I'm very happy that I'm in my home.
Not bad being able to compete at World Championships in your hometown. You just jump out of bed and come straight to the venue, can't you? I mean, what a wonderful guy Titas Peronas has had. He's been given a bit of a spotlight here being in his hometown, but he's actually doing pretty well as well.
Yeah, no, brilliant stuff from the home nation athlete. He's really picked up a great start with the fencing. And yeah, really looking to see him in the final with his home crowd.
Well, 3 heats to come in the pool, and Peronas goes in that 3rd heat, so we've got a little bit of time to wait for that. But what's fascinating about the swim is there's a little change with the new format. We actually go with the athletes who are at the bottom of the order after the first 2 disciplines. So we've got a mix-up of times, haven't we?
Yep, so it's not the traditional setup with the heats in the swimming. We now have the lowest seeded athlete starting in heat number 1. An important thing to note is the highest seeded athlete will be placed in lane 1 and the lowest seeded athlete will be placed in lane 6. So the athletes will really be looking to pick up some extra points and just climb their way up through the seeding.
And what's fascinating about the way that this indoor arena is set up is that we've moved out of the main complex, which is usually a basketball arena for Lithuania's best basketball team. But it means that the crowd, as you can see, there are very few in the swimming pool because they're all sitting in the same arena as us right now. It also means, Alida, they can hear what we're saying.
Yep, no, as we wait for the start of the swimming, it's great to have everyone here welcomed to join us.
Yeah, it certainly is. I hope you're enjoying the coverage here. And I hope you at home are enjoying the coverage. We are going to jump into this pool. It's a 50-metre pool, so let's talk about the difference between the 2 different pool lengths. We have seen regularly 25-metre pools. This is a 50-metre pool, so just 4 laps. What's the biggest difference a newcomer to the sport needs to look out for?
Well, times in the 50-metre pool would generally be a bit slower compared to 25-metre pool, and that's all because of the amount of turns that you have in the 200-metre. Now we only have a chance for athletes to do 3 turns in the 50-metre pool. So we'll be looking at athletes really trying to keep their pace throughout the 200-metre. And the 200-metre is really quite a middle distance sprint. So it's really tactical. We can't really go out too fast in the start, but also can't go too slow. So it's really just about setting pace with that first 100-metre and finishing strong with that last 50.
Thought you were going to start telling Goldilocks and the 3 Bears story there. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. But you know, but you're spot on. The whole point of this semi-finals in particular is getting into the top 9 and leaving enough in the tank for the finals. So some of those leading athletes at the moment may not push quite as hard.
Yeah, no, it's a very tactical game here with the swimming. And athletes in the first heat might be looking to push for a stronger swim to try build their way up to the start of the laser run. Take note that for every second they go faster than the standard time, they gain an extra 2 modern pentathlon points. So every stroke makes the difference in this 200-metre swim.
Well, it looks like we are just about to get ready for the first heat in the men's semi-final A here in Kaunas, Lithuania. Out come the athletes. Well, Carrillo from Mexico out in lane number 1. He set a 2-minute 10-second 200 meters this year. Just inside him, Mohammed Hassan from Egypt, a 2:12.08 for him. Then Giorgio Milan, the Olympic bronze medalist from Italy, a 2:04.34 his best time in the last 12 months. Then Lee Jong-hyun from Korea, Daniel Gravier from the Republic of South Africa, and Valentin Belot from France. We've got to look out for lane 6 here. Can Belot climb back up the order?
And they're off from the diving block straight into the underwater as they start their first 50 of this 200 meters. So in lane 1 on the screen, closest to us, Carrillo, who is the highest seeded athlete in this heat. But it seems to be Giorgio Milan turning on first in this first 50 meter. Looks like a sub 30 second setting pace. But it's towards the top of your screen you want to see if Valentin Below or Daniel Rouvier can try put in a faster time to build themselves up into the seeding. Milan turning on around 1 minute for this first 100 meters. And in this 200 meters race, it's all about making use of every turn, every chance with the underwaters.
We've got to keep an eye on the clock as well. Remember now, Milan here going off like a racehorse out of the starting gates. He's got to make sure he's able to keep and sustain that power throughout. Going in the first heat, he will get a little bit longer of a break, so he can exert a little bit more energy as he makes another turn, his final turn. It looks like Hassan has been overtaken, and it is lanes 4 and 5. Lee and Gravier catching up.
Yeah, we have Rouvier and Lee just further up in the pack, sitting on second and third, really neck and neck in each other. But it's Milan who's just stroking through, finishing strong on this last 50 meters. This will surely pick up points for him in this semi-final. Clocking around 2 minutes, 3 seconds. It's a fast time from Milan. And Rouvier and Lee neck and neck, finishing 2 and 3. Around a time 2:13.
Well, that was some fast swim from Giorgio Milan from Italy. He has set a time, his fastest time in the last 12 months, at 2:03:30 for him. And that is, no, 2:03:46 it's been corrected to. So those hundredths and thousandths of a second making a bit of a difference to his time. Well, as we take a look back through that first heat, Alida, what will that now do to the rest of the athletes coming in heats 2 and 3? Because Milan has set a blistering pace there, his fastest in the last 12 months, and he's a fast swimmer.
No, we'll definitely change things up. And I mean, looking at heat number 2, this is where you look at the athletes who are in a better position to qualify for that top 9 positions. So whether it has Muataz Mohammed or Chamizo, they know they have to put in a good time and a good swim to be in a comfortable start for the laser run.
Milan finishing in the lead by a country mile. The only swimmer faster than him in the last 12 months in this field is Muataz Mohammed. But here is the lineup for the second heat. Mohammed going in the first lane, and inside him Spain's Chamizo and Ukraine's Kowalczyk. Guatemala's Ochoa, Poland's Mavrinjevic, and Turkey's Unal, and they are all ready to get the second heat underway here in Kaunas, Lithuania. This has got to be considered as the setup for the thrilling climax, the laser run coming next. And as the leader said, these 6 are looking to climb the order.
And athletes are off with their first 50 of this 200 meters. So if you have a look at athletes in lane 1, 2, and 3, they're currently sitting on 7, 8, and 9 in their seeding. And it's athletes in lane number 4, 5, and 6 who are currently ranked 10, 11, and 12. So if we have Ochoa, keeping eye on Kowalczyk, who's currently on 9th position, Ochoa can really change things up with this swim. So as we called it, it is Mu'taz Mohammed setting pace, really making use of this swim to really improve his standings.
Kowalczyk looks like he's going to turn in second place. Mohammed out 10 metres down the pool already. And there are 2 times to remember. 2:03.46, the fastest time set by Giorgio Malan. And then the second fastest time set in the first heat by Lee Jong-hyun, 2:13.76. Anything inside 2:13.5 is going to help these athletes move up the order.
Mohammed in a race of his own, turning to the right-hand side, not even having to look at the rest of the field, but he's going to finish strong with his last 50 meters. Look how he's shifting gears with that fast kick. So it's Mohammed in the center of your screen, but just to the right, sitting on second position, is Kowalczyk. He's currently on 9th position, and this will definitely improve his standings before the laser run.
2:05.48 for Mohammed Mu'taz. The Egyptian is surely going to climb the order here. Kowalczyk just inside 2:10. Ochoa bang on 2:13. Be interesting to see how this second heat affects those standings. Milan, remember, with the fastest time so far of a 2:03.46. So looking at this, Alida, Mu'taz was keen to press ahead. Now, is that because of the tight nature of the laser run here? He knows he's got to push the field. As you said right at the top, he is a great laser runner. But has he gone out as fast as he can in the pool, or did he leave something, excuse the pun, in the tank?
No, I mean, we've seen Mu'taz Mohammed do it time and time again, where he can start the laser run a bit further down in the pack, given maybe 10th position, and just run his way through to gold medal contention. So don't rule him out just quite yet. But it is semi-finals day. Goal is just about that top 9 positions. And we're about to start with the top 6 athletes in this semi-final.
So leading the way after the first 2 disciplines, the fence and the obstacles, out come the contenders for heat number 3. Leo Boris from France, going in lane number 1, has the fastest time of this 6 of a 2:06.44 going inside him. Andras Gal from Hungary had a great fence, coming from 16th seed to win it. Then there'll be Danilo Sich from Ukraine, Balashet also from Hungary. Titas Peronas getting the biggest cheer in lane number 5. The Lithuanian has the home crowd in his hometown behind him. And in lane number 6, completing the lineup, the German Tim Ley. Currently at the top of the order after the first 2 heats, Giorgio Malan of Italy.
And athletes are off for the 200-meter swim. This is the final heat of the men's swimming. Looks like Sich, along with Seb, are setting pace here with his first 50. Big thing is just not about going too hard in this first 50, and all about setting pace. The athletes are turning just sub 30 seconds for these first 50 meters. Let's see if they can keep this up and turn it around sub 1 minute for the 100. And given that it's the last heat, they might even be conserving some energy for the start of the laser run and even for the finals, because they split with a 10-second gap from heat 1 and heat 2, so no need to push all out for the swim.
It's tight in the middle of the pool here on the penultimate turn. Danilo Sich from Ukraine, leading the way from Andras Gal. Balashep at the third turn, but it's so tight. Like Sepp may have just edged ahead. Oh, it's so close. Absolutely head and head, neck and neck, these two.
Gal really shifting up the gears here with that last 50 meters. And that's the importance of the third 50, really switching up the pace and making sure not to fall behind with the pace. But it's Gal striding through for that last 50 meters. This is a brilliant swim from Gal of Hungary. It is a fight between Gal and Sich, lane 2 and 3. Strong finish from Gal. It is a 2:06 and a 2:07 finish for Danilo Sich.
Good times, good points. Sich just holding on a little bit, perhaps even clinging on to that time. He went out fast. Interesting to see Boris from France in lane 1, finishing in third place, overtaking Sepp in that final 25 meters. It was a strong finish from the Frenchman.
Well, we wrap things up with the men's swim. And it looks like Giorgio Milan has done what he had to do to climb his way up through the standings before the start of the laser run.
Well, the swim has had a mighty change on the lineup for the laser run. It is complete here in the pool. Well, despite the times being a little bit slower in the third heat than perhaps they might have been, considering the lineup, that has had some effect on the standings. So the points totted up after the swim. We've had 3 disciplines and a look what has happened to the order. Top of the pile, Leo Boris from France, from Andras Gal of Hungary. Danilo Sich with a good enough time in the pool to move up into third place, and Balashep making it 2 Hungarians out of 4 in the top 4. Mutas Mohammed, what a move from him. He's come up into 5th position. Yuri Kovalchuk also moving up 3 places to complete the top 6. The points, the big difference here, 890 for Leo Boris at the top. And as we move down into the middle of the table, this is where the battle for a place in the final will conclude in the next discipline, the combined laser run. Well, here we are, the middle of the table. Sorry, this is still the top of the table. We've got Leo Boris of France topping it. 890 the points he set. Now, every point gives athletes a handicap, and Giorgio Milan of Italy, sitting on the bubble, has moved up 6 places in the swim. Still in the top 8, it's Titas Peronas, who will have the host nation right behind him through the laser run. Now the athletes that need to do big climbs in the bottom 6. Unal, Carrillo, Lee, Gravier, Hassan, who's dropped 3 places. It'll be interesting to see how he does. Well, that's 3 complete. Let's take a look back at the swim. So the swim complete here in Kaunas, Lithuania. We move from the pool back to the main arena, and in fact we move from the pool not only back to the main arena but to the outside of the arena as well. It is the laser run. Handicap start based on the points, which a leader will talk us through very shortly. 5 laps of the 600-meter course with 4 visits to the range, where the athletes have to hit the target 5 times before they can move on, and that's the place where we'll be looking for the overtakes. They come back onto the track, and here we get a view of what they're going to do outside. It's tight, it's twisty, it's turny, it's a big loop. The good news for the athletes is there's no precipitation today, and we are looking for the top 9 to cross the line, because those will be the athletes that make it through to the World Championship final here in Lithuania. And we are a little shy of 8 minutes before the start of the laser run. The athletes given a chance to transition and just get their legs pumping for the run and their eyes in for the shoot. A leader, the points all important here. Handicap start, explain that to us.
Right, so ultimately athletes have now been positioned in top 18 positions. Depending on the gap that they have with the current standings, they will start for every second behind. So for example, we have Andras Gau on 2nd position and Leo Boris on 1st position. Leo Boris will have a 7-second head start given his 7-second point. But here we have the laser run course. We've managed to strap a GoPro to the British athlete Ross Charlton.
Really interesting inside out for the athletes here. This bend in particular, it's really super tight, so pacing around that corner is going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see the lines as well, because there's not much space. They could possibly go 3 abreast here going through that, as we need to take out one of the VIPs en route, and we come back through the loop, rising up, so it's a little bit more like a marathon type course, not quite as long of course, but it's not as flat as we've seen in other competitions, into another tight section here where they'll go through the obstacle course and coming around the final loop, back straight into the bend. They've got some tape on the floor there around the bend, fearful that the athletes may slip, and into the range. Now the range is pretty tightly set up against the start-finish straight. 5 hits of the target required, and we've got the green lights to give us that indication. And like I say, this is where we are going to see overtakes happen. They are going to happen on the course as well, but they become more obvious in the range. And then we speed things up as we go back through the loop again, and this effectively is the final lap for the athletes. Their 5th lap back into the venue, through the obstacles, round the final bend, and then a tight turn in for the start-finish. Top 9 looking to make their place, or book their place in the finals. Giorgio Milan, the Paris 2024 Olympic bronze medalist, has climbed into the top 9, and we take a look at him. Not an ounce of fat on him, a bit like me. And we were lucky enough to speak to Giorgio Milan.
Hi, I'm Giorgio Milan. I'm an Italian pentathlete, and I love this sport. In competition, we have a very short time between swimming and laser run. Then you have to relax a little bit, because you have to pull the swimming, and you have to try to relax and focus on the running. In my experience, it's better to do not push to the limit at the swimming. For example, the leg, you have to reserve for the laser run, and you have to focus on shooting. Also, the arms are tired, and shoulders, and you have to calm down. Then 5-3 minutes before the start, all the energy and the motivating, and go full gas. Yeah, I have a mental coach, and I think it's maybe the most important part at this level, because when all the athletes here are training so hard every day and day by day, then try to do the difference, a little difference, you have to try in every part of the race, in every part of you. and I think the mental one is the most important in the race. And in the second, at the same time, you have to enjoy, because we do sport because we like it, and yeah, it's a job, but it's what I love. Then sometimes I have to remember to myself, have fun and stop.
Well, clearly he didn't realise he was going to be so far down the field when he did that interview, because he was like a dolphin in the pool, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he put in a strong swimming time just a few minutes ago, but he's such a headstrong athlete. I mean, a bit of an unfortunate result that he had in the World Cup final early on this year, and he's really looking to redeem himself, and he just had a safe obstacle course here today. So good stuff from Giorgio Milan.
Well, talking about keeping something in reserve, I hope you've kept something in reserve, Alida, because this is going to be a real battle in the middle order. I mean, we're looking at Boris, who's at top of the draw at the moment, going through his shoot. But it's that middle pack, Tim Ley from Germany in 7th, Titus Peronis from Lithuania in 8th, Giorgio Milan sitting on the bubble in 9th. But we've got to look out for Ochoa of Guatemala, Chamizo of Spain. You've got to fancy that he's going to make it into the top 9, but he's not there at the moment. And then Larivnovic from Poland. This is not done and dusted yet, is it?
No, not at all. And I mean, we have Giorgio Milan, who is sitting on that 9th position. And further up, all the way until, I could even say Carrillo, is just about 10 seconds difference. So this is anyone's race here, and it's just going to be an action-packed laser run. But as we've said time and time again, it all comes down to the unpredictable shooting. It's just about athletes having to get those 5 green lights before setting off for their running lap. But here you have the star, the laser runner, Mu'taz Mohammed, the calm before the storm.
Well, you've got to be looking back at his teammate, haven't you? Can Mohammed Hassan jump from 17th? Can he do that? It is going to be a real challenge for him. We need to be keeping an eye on the athlete wearing number 17, because there he is. He is potentially...
Yeah, I mean, he's about 30 seconds away from Giorgio Milan.
Doable, right?
He could run his way in, so it's really anyone's race.
I think you called it, though. I think he could shoot his way in.
Yeah.
I think that's where he...
It all comes down to his shooting, and I think he knows it. He's trying to visualize now those 5 green lights that he needs to get. And, yeah, no, it's really going to be an exciting laser run.
We're getting a look at superstar,
So
Pass Mohammed.
are just having a look at their starting position. It is a staggered start, so athletes will be starting according to their current ranking. And as we said, for every point difference that they have between, it is a second difference. So given Boris has a 7-point difference, he has a 7-second head start. And important to note, it is 5 running laps. First lap is more of a formation lap before entering the shooting range.
I wonder what's going through the mind of the 2023 Junior World Championship bronze medalist Leo Boris. Would he have figured that he'd be leading this semi-final pack out in the laser run? Tension starts to build. And we are ready for the laser run. Leo Boris of France gets us underway for the conclusion of the men's semi-final A. He's followed out shortly after by Hungary's Andras Gal. Next up it will be Danilo Sic, followed by Balas Sepp. And we follow Danilo Sic out as Balas Sepp leaves the start gate with Mu'taz Mohammed, the man we fancy to leap up to the top of the order through this laser run in the early stages. Coming out next, it's Yuri Kovalchuk of Ukraine, in 6th place. Tim Lee shortly after him, and then Titus Peronas gets the blow of the horns as Giorgio Malan, the man in 9th place, currently sitting on the bubble of qualification, begins his laser run. And he's got off to a pretty good start as well. Looks really confident, upright in his running style into the outside. And let me tell you, it's a little bit chilly out there, which I think the athletes will quite enjoy, especially as this race moves on.
Well, given that it's outside, there is a challenge of the different lighting, having to enter the indoor arena once again and going to the shooting range. But it all comes down to these, you can just see further up on your screen, the hairpin turn is quite a sharp turn for the athletes. They have to make use of the short striding. And just after this turn where Milan is about to approach is an uphill incline. A whole range of challenges in this laser run course.
Well, Peronas has already moved up ahead of Tim Lee of Germany, the Lithuanian getting a big cheer. And Giorgio Malan, the Italian, sitting on the bubble, is chasing those 3 down as we come back into the range, picture in picture. We are in the range, inside the venue, and Leo Boris gets in there first.
Oh, Boris sitting on 1 green light. And Gal climbing through, 4 green light for Gal. Gal is up and away for his 2nd running lap, but it's Boris struggling on his first shooting series. We have Danilo Sic, Boris up and away for their 2nd running lap. But the focus is on Giorgio Malan, who's currently sitting on that 9th position.
Yeah, you're right, and there is the focus on him. He's in the range, sitting in 9th as he came in, looking pretty steady. He hasn't got a light on yet, as Peronas next to him has 3. And this is really tight now. The Ukrainian out.
And Giorgio Malan in danger here, sitting on those 2 green lights. It's Ochoa and Laronovic. Laronovic is up and away, followed by Ochoa.
Milan being dropped. Chamizo looks like he's out as well. This is a big switch around after the first visit to the range. We knew it would be, but we didn't think Milan would be struggling quite as much as he is. As the pack come out, Larinovic from Poland sitting on the bubble. Ochoa looking to overtake him on before the first bend outside.
I mean, even we have Mohamed Hassan, who's really climbed a way through his rankings. He started off in 17th position. He's on the tail of Chamizo. Ochoa and Laronovic really picking up to hunt down that 9th position.
Andras Gal is back inside already as we look at the 2 on the bubble, Larinovic and Ochoa, and they've got Chamizo not too far behind them, and it looks like Mohamed Hassan is going to move up as well. We have 5 inside the arena here as Gal comes up to his mark in the range. So coming into the range now, it's Andras Gal as we look on the big picture at Larinovic of Poland. We got 5 in the range. And Mutas Mohammed coming in 4th. Andras Gal gets out first from the range. It was a slow sprint for him. And sitting in 9th place, Larinovic coming around the final bend into the range. Sorry, he's coming into the back bend. He's got 1 more turn to go. Sic into the range.
Well, it all comes down to this 2nd shooting series. Hassan, Ochoa, Milan, and even Hrvier on the tail of Laronovic, who's sitting on that 9th position.
A big cheer for Ukraine.
Big cheer for Peronas as he leaves the range for the 2nd time.
Peronas still very much in this fight.
Ravinovic has got out quickly as well. I think he's overtaken at least 1 person in the range as they come back onto the outside. Ochoa and Ravinovic still in a really tight battle.
And as Hrvier out of the shooting range, he is in the contention for that 9th position. If Hrvier keeps this up, Hassan struggled on that 2nd shooting series. That will punish him for this 3rd running lap. But it's Lavrinovic, Ochoa and Chamizo.
Ochoa looks like he's starting to burn just a little bit here. Interesting from Lavrinovic, raising the left hand to come around that bend. He's concentrating on balance technique rather than anything else at the moment, but he must know that he is in a proper battle, and they are still on this sort of outer loop of the outside on the running track as Gal is coming into the final bend inside to make his third visit to the range. So this group are quite a long way behind, and you have to say that as long as they get through this chute, the leaders can take a little bit out of their requirement in terms of energy. Gal into the range for the third time. Boris in second place comes into the range as Ravinovic comes back into the arena. The man in ninth position, absolutely putting down everything he can now, and he's opened up a little bit of a gap to 10th. Ochoa has dropped off a little bit.
Well, we have 3 and 4, Sich and Sepp, off for their fourth running lap. Lavrinovic, one to watch, sitting on that 9th position. Peronas really struggling with his third shooting series. He's got 1 green light. But it's Ochoa, Chamizo and Gruvier entering the shooting range. Could this be dangerous for Lavrinovic?
He's on 4. I think he's going to overtake. Oh, he doesn't quite overtake Peronas, but that wasn't a bad visit to the range for Ravinovic. And Ochoa coming out roughly the same distance behind. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be a last couple of laps here around the range. One more visit to around the track, one more visit to the range here. But believe it or not, Mutas Mohammed, I'm sure you do believe it, Mutas Mohammed has moved up into second position after the third visit to the range. Stunning performance as we look at Peronas and Ravinovic battling it out here. That left hand going up again. He's really worried about that tight bend outside the pole.
Peronas gritting his teeth for this fourth running lap. But it's the star of the show, Lavrinovic of Poland, sitting on that 9th position.
Well, entering the arena as we look outside, the leaders are coming in, led by Mutas Mohammed of Egypt. Timli, Peronas, Ravinovic, all coming into the indoor arena right now. We have 6 inside already. And it looks like Lee coming in 7th, Peronas in 8th, and Ravinovic entering the arena in 9th place. He's still got Ochoa and Chamizo behind him. They are in the range, the leaders.
And a brilliant shooting series from Mutas Mohammed. He makes it look too easy. Gal out. Bori on 5 green lights, followed by Sepp. But it's Lavrinovic sitting on 9th position, making his final shooting series.
So important for the pole here.
But not far behind, we have Gruvier, Lee, Chamizo and Ochoa. This is such an important shooting series for these athletes. Lavrinovic is out and away. Lee and Peronas. 8. Peronas now on 9th position. Ochoa out of the range. Lee out of the range.
Ravinovic has jumped 2 places and given himself a bit of safety, but the thrill for the home crowd here is they're now following their own man, Titus Peronas. But what about Lee Yun-Kun? He is just behind, and he's picked up a huge number of places here. The athlete in 9th coming up to us now in the green top is from Kaunas itself. He knows this city inside out, but does he know the pain that he's having to go through? Lea's overtaken the Polish athlete, Ravinovic, who has been blowing hard for the last couple of laps.
Well, this is the straight part of the course. This is chances for athletes to overtake. Lee really trying to catch up to Peronas, but will it be enough? It is an uphill battle.
Well, the leaders have just moved to a jog now. Peronas looks like he may well have done this and made the final in his hometown as the leaders enter the arena. This is 7th, 8th and 9th. These three, including the Lithuanian, looking to make their mark here and qualify for the World Championship men's final. Peronas taking a safety look behind to see if Lee has closed the gap. He hasn't, as Mutas Muhammad crosses the line in first place. Danilo Sic in second. Leo Boris, what an amazing performance from him, in third. Kowalczuk coming through in fourth. The two Hungarians, Gal and Shep, coming through. Lavinia making it through after a thrilling run, followed by Lei and the home nation cheering on Peronas, who makes it through. Lee coming through in 10th, Gravia in 11th, and Chamizo in the end finishing in 12th position. Mohammad Hassan crossing the line now, didn't make it through. Ochoa finishing up, and the final couple of athletes coming to make the line. Well, the final athlete still out on track. Valentin Belot of France coming around the final bend. To be fair to him, he put in a great final lap to only finish this far behind the leaders.
And let's give it up for two-time world champion, Valentin Belot!
Former champion of the world twice, Valentin Belot doesn't make it through, but congratulating his teammate, Mutas Muhammad. The hot shot in the laser run. Was there any doubt, you asked the leader? And the answer was quite simply no. And Peronas, Titas Peronas, delighted to be through. In 9th place, he's made it through to the men's world championship final here in his hometown.
Oh, what an incredible race, but I must say, star of the show was Naranovic of Poland, as well as Mutas Muhammad, who makes it just look too easy.
You say it so often, but you still sound surprised every time. He's incredible
Well, it's
laser
just
runner.
incredible, and I mean, really hats off to him for all his performances.
And I've got to say, Boris has impressed me as well, the young Frenchman.
Or even Gal today. I mean, he started off in about 16th position going into the semi-final and really just had a brilliant day.
Yeah,
from fencing, obstacles to swimming. So great day for Gal, the Hungarian.
Yeah, super performance from him in the fence, giving him a lot of confidence going in to the final. But you said it, Ravinovic, the man. I mean, he's a big guy. He was struggling around that tight bend outside. He had a real battle with Ochoa early on. He struggled in the range in his second visit. Out the front, Mutas Muhammad did, well, what everyone now predicts from him in the laser run, take control of it from whatever position he's in by the time they get to the range for the second time. Ravinovic, though, did have a good third shoot, and that set him up for a finish in 7th position when he'd been battling for 9th. The 4th visit to the range was okay. It wasn't super fast.
What was your strategy when you went to that shoot?
Well, as we look back over the rest of this, and tell you in the venue, Titas Peronas is being interviewed here for Lithuanian TV, and here he is finishing off his run, climbing up that hill. That must feel like you're climbing up something a lot steeper than that in the final lap. The leaders in the laser run in the men's semi-final A were off the gas from halfway round the final lap. But this man powered through, checking over his shoulder a couple of times before making it through in 9th place. He's done just enough to make it to the men's final here at the World Championships here in his hometown of Kaunas. But he is still the man to beat. Mutas Muhammad of Egypt winning the men's semi-final A.
Do you think that's what put you over the top? Do you think if you were running in front of another crowd, would you finish at night, or were they the ones that put you over the edge?
Well, the conclusion of the first men's semi-final here. We've had the 5 disciplines, and we have 9 of the field for the final set. Mutas Mohammed coming through the top. Sorry, Mohammed Mutas coming through the top from Danilo Sic. Great performance from Boris from France in 3rd. Kowalczyk impressed the Ukrainian in 4th. The 2 Hungarians, Gal and Shep, finishing the top 6. But Mutas climbing 4 places in the laser run, and he'd done that within 1.5 laps, 1 visit to the range. Also qualifying for the final, Lervinovic from Poland, a special race from him, jumping 5 places to make it up into 7th. And then Tim Ley of Germany and Titas Peronis from Lithuania completing the 9 qualifiers from the first men's semi-finals. You've got to feel for Gravier and Lee, the South African and the Korean, jumping 5 places in the laser run, but they didn't make it through. Mohammed Hassan of Egypt, well, he had a shocking fence and he just could not recover despite climbing 4 places. But that is the conclusion of the men's semi-final. We really hope you enjoyed it. Let's take a look back at the action.